Wait. What's the difference between the Generation 3 and Generation 2? Are you just charging me extra money for no reason?
Yes.
They look exactly the same.
If you're not blind, I can tell you, but since you are, it's very hard to tell. Knife shapes is pretty identical. You can say they're the same, probably the same thickness, same height. Generation 2 does have a little bit difference in the knife shape. The tip is more curved upwards, so it's not as sharp. Generation 3 have a very sharp tip, very pronounced. Depends on your likings though, because not many people use the tip in the kitchen. And let's talk about where the is the difference handle-wise. You can tell already. So both stabilized wood as the main material, stabilized wood, and there's some fittings on both knives. Copper fitting, and this we've got 3 variations: titanium, silver, and copper. We've got the bolster area. This is, I think, the darkened rosewood, and this is G10. So technically, the Generation 3 can support more robust use. How the handle is constructed with G10 than the Birkwood. Generation 2 does offer one thing: it's price. It's literally very cheap. Around the same hardness, the Generation 3 is a little bit harder, which doesn't really affect that much, but it's just the price tag, man. This, put it aside, let's talk about Generation 3. First is the design over here. Adds the balance to the blade, a little bit persona and elegancy to the blade. And both blades on the edge finish is completely different. For the Generation 2, it's a flat grind. The edge is like this by using a waterstone. On the Generation 3, a little bit more expensive. On the edge to be a little bit long-lasting. So what we did is a small convex. So the blade on the very edge here is like a little bit like this. The reason we can be able to do that because it's the thickness of the blade. If you do this and the blade is too thick, it's just not gonna cut well. But the knife is thin. Edge, we can do a little bit curvature, so it does support the very fragile thin edge over here. It's coarse grind to the very edge, but not close to the edge. Then finish with a leather wheel, creates a mirror finish, and hence the sharpness. That's basically the difference between these two blades. For the Generation 2, you got 2 choices: Ushi and Mononoke. Similar materials, the same thing. Well, for the Generation 3, we've got petty/utility as well, but also the Western Gyuto. In all 3 variations: silver, titanium, copper. All 3 are the same according to how they're finished and constructed. Handmade blades: titanium, silver, copper. Now, the copper sells the best because dark gold matches with green. But for my personal favorite, I like the texture and feel of the silver because this is where we use the striations, then polished it. The copper is a matte finish, so it's not as grippy. Well, the titanium, some people like it. And that's our Damascus Generation 3, which is online free shipping.